This lecture briefly explains the color attribute. So what are attributes? Recall from a previous lecture that attributes are properties associated with the primitives that give them their different appearances. For example, color is one of the attributes for points, lines, and polygons. Size and width is an attribute for points and lines. Stipple pattern is an attribute for lines and polygons. Polygon mode is also an attribute because polygons can be displayed as filled with solid color or stipple pattern. A polygon can be displayed as edges only or vertices only. Note that only a few sizes are supported by OpenGL functions using the function GL.size. Coming back to the color attribute, there are three components of color: the red, green, and blue component known as RGB color. Each color component is stored separately in the frame buffer and usually occupies 8 bits. That is, there are 8 bits per color component. Color values in each component can range from 0.0 to 1.0 using floats, or over the range of 0 to 255 using unsigned bytes. We can use vector3 or vector4 to represent color. For example, the red color can be represented in vector3 format as 1.0, 0.0, 0.0, which basically means that it has full red component, no blue and no green component. This will display as perfect red. Cyan in vector4 can be represented as 0, 1, 1, and 1. The last fourth component is for opacity. We will study this later. In addition to the RGB components of color, we can also use indexed color, where colors are indices into tables of RGB values. This requires less memory because every index uses 8 bits. However, this is not as important now because memory is inexpensive and we need more colors for shading anyway. We generally define objects as vertices and define colors for each vertex. But how can we achieve smooth color? Well, we can tell the rasterizer in the pipeline how to interpolate the vertex colors across the primitives. The default is smooth shading, where OpenGL interpolates vertex colors across visible polygons. The alternative is flat shading, where color of the first vertex is given to the complete polygon. Shading is handled in the fragment shader. Here every vertex has a different color and it has been smoothly interpolated between the vertices.